Did you know that Jews are 0.2% of the population? Not 2%, 0.2% of the population. You say, yeah, but it's per capita. There's not a ton of Jewish people. I agree with that, but per capita, they are just super rich and powerful. Well, turns out they're the 37th richest country by, per capita. Did you know that Israel is the size of New Jersey? All right, there's been a lot of infighting within the right here in America recently, and it's really about Israel. Seems like there's a pro-Israel and an anti-Israel side. I've watched a lot of debates. I've, taken in a lot of content about these kind of things from both perspectives. Of course, I have my own beliefs, and I'll talk about them here in a second. The slogan that just continually gets brought up is America first, America first, America first, America first. It's almost used like a chant. And if you're not anti-Israel, that seems to mean, for a lot of people, that you're not America first. Now, if you were to ask me, do you support MAGA, making America great again? I'd say, of course. If you said, would you consider yourself America first? I would say yes. And then you might say, oh, so you're not pro-Israel. And I would say, I am pro-Israel. Whoa! It's like a gasp. They're just so upset. And a lot of people are like, no, you can't be America first and be pro-Israel. And I'm like, of course I can. And they say, no, you're Israel first. I'm like, no, I'm America first. Do you understand the word first implies there's a second, a third, a fourth? It implies it's the beginning, but there are other things. I can be America first, but still support our allies across the world. I vehemently disagree with Europe on a lot of things. And I don't agree with everything Israel does, but they are our allies in the world. They are, they have our similar values in Western culture, Western civilization. And I'm definitely going to side with them, especially over like jihadists. And so what I've learned here recently is that a lot of these people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, they're not really America first. They're America only. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying you're wrong if you believe that. I'm not saying you're a bad person. It's a legitimate discussion or conversation to have. Just, I think you should change the name. If that's what you believe, start calling yourself America only. Don't say America first, because it's like you don't understand what first means. So I am definitely pro-Israel, and you're not going to change that. I'm not changing my mind. I do not believe in conspiracy theories like, the Holocaust didn't happen, or that Israel is behind 9/11, or that Israel is behind October 7th, or that Israel is behind Charlie Kirk's death. There's some really bizarre things being said out there. Just to be clear, I'm not saying if you're America first or anti-Israel that you believe those conspiracy theories. You just might have a different perspective than me, which is okay. But unfortunately, there are a lot of loud voices out there that are saying things like that. And what's happening is called derangement. Very similar to how the left has Trump derangement syndrome. It doesn't matter what happens in the world. If it's bad, it's Trump's fault. And if it's good, they ignore it or don't even talk about it because they only want to hear negative Trump things. They view everything through the world through the lens of their derangement, this object of their derangement, and it's Trump. Every story that comes out, it's, what did Trump say? Is Trump for this? Then I'm against it. Things like that. You don't even hear the left talking much about climate change or anything anymore. You just hear them being anti-Trump. It's kind of bizarre. Well, the same thing is happening with Israel. When your first thought after Charlie Kirk got killed is that Israel was secretly behind it, you're deranged, okay? Like Candace Owens. She's lost it. This is how I explain it. It's like a needle in a haystack evidence theory. So you're looking for evidence, right? And you're sorting through this giant haystack. It takes you a long time, and you finally find a needle in a haystack, and you show it up to everybody, and you say, see, I told you there was evidence. This is the smoking gun. But you ignored all the hay. Like there's a lot of hay that you sifted through for weeks and months to find that one little bit of evidence that's a needle. And so when you focus on one little tiny piece of evidence that supports your narrative, but you ignore all the other evidence. That is what I call a needle in a haystack evidence theory. If you're doing that, you've reached a point of derangement. You believe what you want to believe. And if someone disagrees with you, you don't want to hear that. And you're going to find an expert to tell you that you're right, which, by the way, you can always do that. There's always a PhD out there somewhere that's going to agree with anyone's perspective. It might not be the consensus, but you can find somebody who's an expert to agree with you. You're going to find evidence to support your claim, not prove it, or be case closed, but just support it. You're going to ignore all other evidence that goes against your narrative. Then you're going to close yourself off and get in an echo chamber where you only hear the people who share your perspective. And it's going to reinforce and confirm over and over again. And before you know it, you're deranged. You can't see another perspective. And it becomes so clear to you that you're shocked other people can't understand it. And if someone pushes back on you and tries to show you evidence that goes against what you're saying, it's all made up. Big Brother did that. The deep state did that. It's the Jews. It's Israel. They're behind it all. Come on. I think there's a lot of Israel derangement going on today. Now, if you think Israel came in and just took over land that didn't belong to them, that's a whole nother topic. We could get into that. Britain controlled that area after World War I, and then Israel claimed their independence, and then after World War II and the horrible events of the Holocaust and all that stuff, they started their own country there. But if you just look at the Dome of the Rock, the Muslim mosque that's in Jerusalem, and notice it's sitting on top of the old Temple Mount, that would tell you that the Temple Mount was there a long time before that mosque was. And so just read the Bible. You can go back, 1500 BC and figure out that the Jews have been there way longer than any Muslims have, especially since Islam wasn't started until Muhammad did in AD 600. But I don't want to go deep into that here, but I just don't get this anti-Israel stuff, anti-Jewish stuff. I mean, it obviously was huge in Europe leading up to World War II, and you hear about the Rothschilds and this guy, he was a Jew and he controlled all these banks and his family controlled these banks. Is it possible that got a little hyped up and is more than what it actually was? Probably so. But let's just say that this guy was a bad guy. Let's say that Rothschild and his family were legitimately bad people. What does that have to do with Judaism? That would just mean this guy was a bad guy. Okay, that's like finding some guy who was a serial killer and saying, oh, he was a white guy. The white people are evil. Come on. Because he was a Jew, what does that have to do with anything? Okay? That's group identity. That's identity politics. I want nothing to do with that nonsense. But I'll admit I have a little bit of a bias. I am a Bible-believing Christian. And, Jesus was a Jew. And the 12 disciples were Jews. And 64 of the 66 books of the Bible were written by Jews. So, yeah, that's where my faith came from, is Israel, Judaism. So, yeah, I got kind of a soft spot for it. But if you want to criticize the government of Israel for something, I mean, that's okay. It's not a bad thing. I'm not going to call you anti-Semitic for that. But hopefully you don't start going down these conspiracy theories where Jews are pulling the strings and Jews have all the power in the world. Just crazy stuff like that. So use your brain.